This is the most complicated scene in the world!
I know pretty much how it's going to be.
None of us quite have any idea what's going on.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the Harry Potter scenes that were hard to shoot for the actors involved, for a variety of reasons.
Things at Hogwarts are far worse than I feared.
Number 10, Ron and Hermione's first kiss. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Rupert was like, I don't know how we're going to do it. And I was like, I've got no idea either. We were both more worried about the fact that we just wouldn't be able to do it.
The long-awaited kiss between Ron and Hermione was executed differently in the movies than in the books. Nevertheless, it was a cathartic triumph for Hermione fans, eager to see their ship finally set sail. Unfortunately, it wasn't so much for Emma Watson and Rupert Grint. Having grown up together, Watson and Grint viewed each other more as siblings than anything else.
If someone is literally like a sibling to you, you've grown up with them. Being put in a situation where you have to kiss them is just really awkward.
Watson particularly could not take it seriously, and they had to do 4 takes before it finally gelled. Her kiss with Daniel Radcliffe during the locket scene was even more awkward, as Watson had to film it topless and with silver paint. Rest in peace, Golden Trio.
You are not allowed to be in.
Everyone was there for my kiss.
Number 9, Hermione arrives at the Yule Ball. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
She looks beautiful.
Yeah, she does.
A dolled-up Hermione descending gracefully down the Great Hall staircase for the Yule Ball is a lovely moment. It's a character turn for Hermione, especially if you have the book's context in mind. It sounds simple enough to shoot, right? Not quite. According to Watson, the experience was nowhere near easy or enjoyable.
I put your hands up in the air like an ogre, just don't care. Can you dance like
Director Mike Newell bombarded her with instructions on how to walk down, saying she was walking too fast and her arms were swinging too much. Watson even fell down the stairs at one point. Fortunately, Newell did get his perfect take in the end, which turned out splendidly.
He actually wanted the camera to pick up the fact that none of us had a clue what we were doing.
Number 8, Aragog's Lair. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The casting for this franchise was even more perfect than most know. Rupert Grint is very much like Ron in many ways. One trait he shares with his red-headed character is that they are both afraid of spiders. Yes, even the rubbery kinds.
But I cannot deny them fresh meat when it wanders so willingly into our midst. Goodbye, friend of Hagrid.
Can we panic now?
This made filming the scene where he and Harry meet Hagrid's former pet Acromantula, Aragog, in the Forbidden Forest even more challenging.
It was also exciting to make a darker picture, slightly more of an action-adventure film this time around, which is really exciting to me. It appeals to the 10-year-old boy inside of me.
Don't panic.
Unlike a pure remake or a pure sequel, it's a story that exists on its own terms.
While most of the spiders were created via CGI, a massive animatronic puppet was constructed for Aragog. Poor Grint didn't have to work too hard to portray his character's terror, especially when a spider actually grabs hold of his neck.
Arania, exhibit!
Thanks for that.
Number 7, Feasts in the Great Hall. Harry Potter franchise.
Let the feast begin.
One of the most alluring scenes in the franchise always involves those grand feasts in the Great Hall. It helps that the Great Hall is a practical set with candles and everything, beautifully shot in the first film. In real life, however, it was not so luxurious.
I'll say 1, 2, 3, and action. The food appears. Set. 1, 2, 3, action!
While the actors were initially encouraged to eat the food during the production of Philosopher's Stone, the long time between takes meant that plates were left there for days on end. It grew so bad that the actors could smell the rot from other locations. Suffice to say, they switched to artificial and treated food in subsequent films.
Do you ever stop eating?
I'm hungry.
Number 6, Cedric's Death. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Go on, take it! You saved me, take it! Together! 1, 2, 3!
Cedric's death was devastating behind the scenes as well, though for an entirely different reason. Actor Robert Pattinson had to endure being jolted around by wires. These wires would launch him backward to the ground as the Avada Kedavra spell hit him. One was even tied around his groin area. It was a terribly uncomfortable experience Pattinson had to undergo numerous times before Mike Newell was satisfied.
Who are you? What do you want? Kill the stag!
Avada Kedavra!
No! Cedric!
The scene was executed well though, marking the first major death of the series. Godspeed, Pattinson. Cedric deserved better, and so did you.
I don't know about everybody else who are the new people, but I was just so desperate to look cool in front of all of them, especially as I was older than them as well. I was really desperate.
Number 5, Harry's detention with Professor Umbridge. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
I want you to write, I must not tell lies.
How many times?
Well, let's say for as long as it takes for the message to sink in.
As if we needed yet another reason to hate this scene, Umbridge's sadistic torture of Harry in the guise of discipline includes Harry writing lines in special ink, his blood. Umbridge is the most universally loathed Harry Potter character for very good reason. But if it's hard for us to watch, it was even harder for Imelda Staunton to perform.
Imelda Staunton. She's very talented. And more than that, she keeps everyone laughing in between takes. She's a very, very funny woman.
It's a great role, and I don't think for a moment she thinks she's doing anything wrong. Not for a moment.
This talented actress admitted that particular scene left her feeling pretty bad for a couple of days. You know you're foul when your own actor can't stomach playing you.
I predict Umbridge is going to stay in people's memories quite a bit because she's quite scary and interesting and funny all at the same time. And I think there are going to be a lot of kids out there who are going to probably have a few nightmares about Dolores Umbridge. I certainly do, and I've been working with her.
Number 4, defense lessons in the Room of Requirement. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
It's also known as the Come and Go Room. The Room of Requirement only appears when a person has real need of it, and is always equipped for the Seeker's needs.
Is there any magical location cooler than the Room of Requirement? Harry first used the Come and Go Room as a room to teach defensive magic to his peers. Unfortunately, the set built for this consequential location was very uncomfortable to be in for the actors involved.
Because wherever you point the camera, you're going to see yourself. So we had weeks and weeks of meetings about how practical it was to shoot in this environment.
James and Oliver Phelps, who played Fred and George, revealed it grew hot quickly. And Ginny's actress, Bonnie Wright, described it as claustrophobic with so many people in the scene. The many fireplaces in the room did not help matters either. If nothing else, at least Umbridge's Bombarda Maxima aired things out a bit.
I'll make short work of this. Bombarda Maxima.
Number 3, Harry, Ron and Hermione jump off of a dragon into a lake. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. It's a thrilling scene indeed. Harry, Ron and Hermione escape Gringotts Bank on the back of a dragon.
Reducto! Hold on!
Was it the terrifying heights the actors disliked? Surprisingly, it was the jump into the lake that was problematic. Not only did they have to plunge into the lake many times, the water was genuinely cold. In a sequence, the three also had to change clothes right after, which made them colder. Emma Watson described it as the absolute worst experience she had filming the series.
We plan, we get there, all hell breaks loose.
He's right. One problem. Snape's headmaster now. We can't just walk through the front door.
Well, we'll go to Hogsmeade, to Honeydew, take the secret passage in the cellar.
Paul Rupert Grint apparently even thought his heart stopped beating at one point. No acting was involved, clearly, in delivering the character's teeth-rattling lines.
Maybe it's the Horcruxes. Maybe he's growing weaker. Maybe he's dying.
No, it's more like he's wounded. If anything, he feels more dangerous.
Number 2, The Seven Harrys. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
I believe you're familiar with this particular brew.
No, absolutely not.
Told you you'd take it well.
Now, this scene had to be tricky to execute. In order to spirit Harry away to safety, the plan was to disguise Order members as Harry via Polyjuice Potion to confuse Death Eaters. This scene alone took a whopping 95 takes to complete. Literally everything about this scene was tricky to pull off.
And it was very specific stuff, so like if you moved too far an inch to your left,
it was unusable because then you would, in theory, be standing on a version of me that we then filmed next, which is going to be put in later, if you sort of follow me. If you do follow that, then well done, you should join the visual effects department.
They had to film each actor as they physically transformed into Harry, which required 30 backup cameras. Radcliffe had to study how the other actors portrayed their characters in order to convincingly play them turning into his character.
Roll's not coming off.
Hey, do that again, ladies and gents.
All right, we'll be pairing off.
Dan plays women really well, actually.
I was thrilled. That was one of the things I was delighted about, was how good I looked in Fleur's costume. I looked fantastic in women's clothing. And I was like, yeah, man, I look good. I look a rock star. So I was quite pleased with that.
Not only that, but he couldn't move around a lot, or else he would be stepping into a shot with another version of himself. It was executed brilliantly, but it was definitely very challenging to shoot.
It all counts as the same shot for each pass when I do Fleur and Mungus and all those characters. It all counts as one shot, and we did get up to, I think, 95 takes on that one. It was a long day.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. McGonagall versus Snape. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Screenwriter Steve Kloves wanted Harry to duel Snape. Thankfully, Rowling convinced him otherwise. Sirius and the Dementors. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Poor Gary Oldman had to lie on the cold ground for a week.
What they did was they built this lake inside the studio, and they cooled it down and they froze this lake. And I had to just lie there for a week. Day in, day out, doing nothing.
Underwater scene. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Daniel Radcliffe spent 6 weeks underwater.
It was hard work and it was very physical, but it was really rewarding. I got given by the stunt department, this was my Christmas present for them, which was the Professional Diver's Daily Record. It has in it every dive that I ever did while filming, and the total time that I spent underwater was 41 hours and 38 minutes.
Quidditch matches. Harry Potter franchise. Those broomsticks were really uncomfortable to ride on.
The quaffle is released, and the game begins!
The roof during the first task. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It was a real drop, and Daniel Radcliffe genuinely feared for his life.
That was really, really terrifying, and I'm not afraid to admit that. That was really scary. Anyone would be scared, I'm convinced.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Bellatrix tortures Hermione. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Torture scenes are often also torturous for the actors involved. In Deathly Hallows Part 1, Harry, Ron and Hermione are captured and taken to Malfoy Manor. Upon seeing Gryffindor's sword and believing the trio had stolen it from her Gringotts vault, Bellatrix takes things out on Hermione.
Put the boys in the cellar! I want to have a little conversation with this one. Girl to girl!
It's a hard scene to watch, but even harder on the actors. Watson did her research on real-life torture victims and delivered a chilling performance that managed to disturb even her fellow actors. Poor Helena Bonham Carter also felt guilty about accidentally injuring Neville actor Matthew Lewis in Order of the Phoenix.
To think that children stood a chance against us. I'll make this simple for you, Potter.
While her character was threatening him, she actually perforated his eardrum, causing internal bleeding. Lewis, not wanting to make Bonham Carter feel bad, never told her.
I've done witches before, and I've done the hag look. I thought I could be sexier.
She's a real psycho.
If you could play any character in Harry Potter, who would it be? Let us know in the comments.
I'm delighted with it because 7 of me are once on screen, so it's any actor's dream.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.